Welcome to This Explainer. Look, if you're an administrator, you already know that keeping your institution fully accredited is one of the absolute most vital tasks on your plate. Today, we're taking the League of Christian Schools Annual Accreditation Status and Progress Report, or the ASPR for short, and breaking it down into a highly structured, totally manageable process. We're going to take all those daunting requirements and turn them into a clear, stress-free plan of action.
Because, let's be honest, the League of Christian Schools represents that standard of excellence your institution is always striving for. Our goal today is to help you turn what feels like an overwhelming checklist of documents into an empowering roadmap. It really doesn't have to be stressful if you know exactly what's expected of you. And that's exactly what we're going to map out together right now.
All right, let's organize these requirements into 4 logical pillars so you can gather your files with total confidence. The rules of submission, your financial health, the academic and staff ecosystem, and finally, institutional growth.
Starting off with pillar number 1, the rules of submission and navigating that online ASPR form.
Okay, here is the absolute most crucial takeaway for this entire process. You cannot start this online form, get halfway through, and save your progress for later. The system literally isn't built for that. You have to have every single PDF ready to upload all at once in a single session. This is why preparation is just everything. If you try to wing it on the fly, you're going to find yourself incredibly frustrated.
And speaking of preparation, circle this exact date in red on your calendar, October 15th, 2026. That is your hard and fast deadline for the continued accreditation paperwork. You're definitely going to want to schedule your one-sitting upload session well before this date, just to give yourself a nice, comfortable buffer for any unexpected technical hiccups.
Moving right along to Pillar 2, Financial Health, covering both your past and future stability. When you're pulling your financial documents, you've really got to be careful to separate last year's actual performance from next year's projections. For the prior 2025-2026 school year, you need your budget, a full year-end profit and loss statement, your tuition fee schedule, and your fundraising details. But then, shifting gears to the current 2016-2027 year, you're focusing on your forward-looking budget and an agreed-upon procedures report, or, as an alternative, a formal letter from your auditor confirming your finances have been reviewed and are in good standing.
Let's actually zoom in a little closer on that prior year fundraising requirement. For 2025-2026, you need to be super specific. You've got to detail the activities you ran, the exact amounts raised, and precisely how those funds were allocated. But here's a massive pro tip. If your school didn't happen to run any fundraising campaigns that year, don't just skip the upload. You still have to address it. Just write up a quick statement saying no fundraisers were completed, print it on your official school letterhead, save it as a PDF, and upload that.
All right, on to pillar number 3, your academic and staff ecosystem. Basically, your people and your progress. To prove your students are making solid progress, you're required to provide verification of your 2025-2026 assessments. This means uploading a school-wide summary sheet by grade or readiness score reports from tools like Map Growth, Iowa, SAT 10, or ASQs. But major compliance alert here, you must strictly omit all individual student names from these reports. They only want to see the big picture, school-wide data, not your individual student records.
Now, handling staff turnover is actually pretty straightforward, but there's a key difference in what you submit. For any new faculty you hired between July 1st, 2025 and June 30th, 2026, you need to provide specific credentials. That means the DCF credential for preschool hires and college transcripts or professional certificates for K-12 hires. But for faculty who resigned during that exact same time window, you just need to provide a simple list of those departures.
And hey, don't forget to brag a little bit about how you're investing in the talent you retain. You need to document all your in-service and professional development for the 25-26 school year. Just create a simple document that lists the dates, the specific titles of the trainings, and the total number of hours completed. It's a great way to prove your ongoing commitment to educational excellence.
Which brings us to our 4th and final pillar, institutional growth and elevating your institution.
This is where you really get to shine and showcase your school's momentum. You'll need to document any new resources, programmatic shifts, or systemic changes you proudly rolled out during the past school year. Did you introduce a brand new curriculum, maybe a sleek new student information system, or a targeted reading intervention program? This is exactly where you clearly identify all those forward-moving changes. Now listen up for this one, because it is entirely non-negotiable. You have to outline the improvements you've made based on the recommendations from your last accreditation findings report. Under no circumstances can this section be left blank. The accreditation body wants to see a direct, undeniable through line from their past feedback to your current actions.
All right, let's pull it all together into a final prep checklist. Before you even think about visiting that ASPR submission link, run through this list. Double-check that every single file we just talked about is saved in PDF format. Verify that every document is clearly labeled with your school's name. And finally, make sure they are all sitting in one easy-to-access folder on your desktop so you are completely armed and ready for that mandatory one-sitting upload.
Of course, even with the absolute best prep, technology can still throw a tantrum, right? If you run into any technical snags during that upload, don't panic. You can easily reach out to Toby Manke at tmank@ilfelixsononline.com for direct support with the process. Feel free to jot that email down right now. So, as you're corralling all these PDFs into a folder, I want you to think about this. How does mastering this annual checkup actually empower your school to better serve your students? Look, it's so easy to view accreditation as just this massive mountain of paperwork. But streamlining this administrative process proves your profound dedication to excellence. By getting this annual checkup done efficiently, you're safeguarding your institution's future, and ultimately, you're freeing yourself up to focus on what truly matters, your students. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and best of luck with your submission. You've got this.